Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
It really is one of the most popular vacations. It was years ago. It still is. I'm talking about cruising. We're going cruising today, and we are going to let you know everything about cruising and cruises that you were afraid to ask. And we can ask this guy. Don't be afraid. He's got all the answers. He's never intimidating because he's got so much information and background. And he is the guy behind Cadillac Vacations. And they do lots of cruises for lots of people. He's been on lots of cruises. David Fishman is on the program with us. Hey, David, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am good.
Let's see. I just got done with my 67th cruise. I might know a little bit. A little bit about cruising.
All right.
I think I got a little bit of water in my ear right now. I'm not sure. I'm waterlogged. So I think I could help him out with a little bit with cruising today.
Blown away. If I had a guess after all these years, I would think that, I don't know, maybe it's like, maybe 28 cruises, something like that. Unbelievable. Let's dig right in. There's lots of different ships. There's a different cruise line, different ship for everybody. When you hear about the term mass market ships, what does that mean?
Mass market ships are the Carnivals, the Royal Caribbeans, the Holland Americas, the Princess,
the
Costas, those type of ships, the big ships, as I like to call them,
Gotcha.
Where you have anywhere from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 people on board a ship. They actually market themselves. NCL is another one, for example, Norwegian Cruise Line. They market themselves to the masses. And so that's why I call them the mass market ships. And they all have their own characters too, by the way. It's just, every ship is, I always say it's not a one size fits all. Travel is not a one size fits all. I always we'll go to places and they say, you have to go on this cruise line or you have to go here. And I always say, my favorite. So Steve, what size shoe do you wear?
That would be a 9.5, 10.
You don't mind if I sell you size 7, do you?
Not going to fit.
That's what the internet will sell you. That's what other people will sell you. So, working with other thing is a travel professional that does know about the cruising and does know about all the different types of ships and their personalities and what they're going to offer you and your family is hugely important because it isn't a one size fits all. And that is really big. Even in the mass market ships, they have different personalities. There's a right ship out there for you. So those are the mass market ships, the big ships, the ones that are out there. The biggest is coming out. Actually, I will be going on the inaugural of it in January, the Icon of the Seas, Royal Caribbean. It's got like 12 neighborhoods. 12 neighborhoods. I don't even live by 12 neighborhoods. It's like 12 neighborhoods. It's going to be quite interesting. So I'm excited to share that when I go on that too. So
how do you make that decision? All right. So the mass market ships, we've heard of the names before, Carnival and onward.
Yeah.
How do you decide? And is it reasonable? And take this from where I'm going with it. Call the mass market ships like the big brands, like the McDonald's, like those, kind of for everybody, most people, would like McDonald's or, pick any other, major fast food chain.
Shall we say it's the fast food of cruising? Maybe, but
Yeah.
I mean, some of them might be more like an Applebee's. And then occasionally, when you get to luxuries, now you're eating a Capital Grille or Ruth Chris. So
Gotcha.
if you want to compare them, that's kind of how you kind of go down the line. It's almost like hotels. You got your Motel 6s, and then you move up to the Holiday Inns, Best Westerns, then you move into the Marriotts and the Sheratons and everything. Then you move into the Ritz-Carltons and the Four Seasons. Cruise lines are kind of along that path. There is something interesting that's going on with some of the mass market cruises, like the celebrities, like the NCLs, and Celebrity and NCL are doing it, and then Royal Caribbean's going to start doing it. MSC, which is another mass market ship, is doing it, and that's the hotel, the cruise ship within the cruise ship. So now you're kind of catering to that both audience. And the reason they're doing that is you got maybe an older clientele that like the amenities of the big ship, but like a small ship type of feel. Or maybe there's multi-generational. So now you have the older family members, the grandparents that are taking the whole family, the kids and everything can be in the what we call the general population, the big area of the ship, why the adults or the grandparents can be in the higher end part of the ship. For example, if you've ever been to Las Vegas, people might understand this. There's Mandalay Bay. People know Mandalay Bay.
Yep.
They may not know that the top 3 or 4 floors is the Four Seasons.
I wasn't aware. I was there. I'm talking like 2001, somewhere around there. I don't know if they had that back then, but and I think it had just reopened or whatever. Didn't even know that was at that location.
So that's sort of the concept. So in NCL they have the Haven. In Celebrity they have the oh my God, just drew a blank on it. They have their specialty area. Sorry. The Yacht Club is on MSC. Royal Caribbean is coming up with theirs next. So it's a high end where they'll have special areas, special bars, special pools. The reserves, sorry, and Celebrity has a reserve, have these special areas, special restaurants just for this area. But yet they have the amenities of a big ship, because there are nice amenities for big ships. Like there'd be Broadway shows that you're not going to get on the small ships, or they'll have NCL, for example, has your unique race car track, the go-kart track. Their new ship has got a 3-level race car track, full size go-karts. It's outstanding, to be very honest. I mean, I was doing it in Alaska with the snow coming down. What a surreal experience. All right. So they have those combined experiences of more amenities that you don't get on some of the smaller ships is really kind of what makes it unique. So you get the combo experience. So that's what's happening now with some of the larger ships. You're getting that combination.
What do you ask for if you want that concept, the ship within a ship?
Well, it just, a lot of times it's multi-generational, or might be the people that say, I love going on this cruise. I like going on Celebrity. I like going on Royal Caribbean. I like going on Carnival. I'd like whatever that cruise, but Carnival doesn't have yet. But, I like the nicer cabin. I like the suites. Okay. And some of the things. But so how would you like to have, your own special area on board the ship, along with having all the amenities of the ship? Would that work well for you? And a lot of people do like that. They like the bigger ships. They like that type of environment. So this gives them the best of both worlds.
In terms of the number of people on those ships, the ones, call it the ship within a ship, what typical numbers are we looking at? Or it's pretty much like, the mass market cruises?
Oh, you mean percentage wise of the ship?
No, just total volume passengers, total passenger number.
Well, the total passengers will range on the mass market ships. I say they usually range from 1,500 up to 6,000.
And on these others, the ship within a ship, what numbers are we looking at? Or is it pretty much
same thing? On those ships, some of those 2,000, 3,000 passenger ship, 1,800, like the Celebrity came out with the Edge class. I like to say Celebrity is the high end, one of the high end providers in the mass market ships.
Okay.
Really nice. Really caters.
We're talking Applebee's, people.
Well, maybe even a step above.
Notch up.
Yeah. And especially if you go into the reserve. Now you're talking, more of a Capital Grille, a Ruth Chris type of environment, but you'd still get the Applebee's pieces of it on the other side too. But I mean, they've gone to a more luxury. They used to call it modern luxury on Celebrity, and they've done a fantastic job on their Edge class ships. Fantastic. So those are like 2,000, 2,500 passengers. Those are fantastic ships for someone that wants to go more adults, less family, fits it really well, but like a bigger ship, but not huge, but a bigger ship.
Okay.
I mean, fantastic restaurants, really nice.
All right. I'm feeling a more intimate, smaller ship. That's what I'm looking for. Maybe I've cruised Carnival, I've done the big stuff. What am I looking at here?
Now I take you down. Now I'm going to get to what I call the mid-level luxury type ships. And that is like, I just went on Oceana, which their foodies will love it. It's a very foodie ship. Matter of fact, I actually took a cooking class on board the ship, made some amazing food, some fantastic chefs teaching me. It was really great experience. And that's about 1,100 passengers. Really luxurious, very nice, appointed very well, and just a little bit more higher level service and some better amenities in regards to maybe the products in the bathroom or the towels or the bedding or the service level or some of the public areas or the food. Now you're taking it up to another notch. Azamara is kind of in that mid-level range as well, as I like to call it. Same size type of ships. So those two are kind of in that range until we kind of kick in to the next level. Some people think that Celebrity kind of enters that in a little bit. I think they're on the high end of that market, but so that's more of a mid-range, more of a luxury. Now we take it to the deluxe or unique. I'm going to give it deluxe and unique because I would say Windstar has like 100 passenger. Sea Dreams is a luxury yacht experience, 110 passengers, 90 crew. Okay. Then you get into Star Clipper. That's a more casual, that's a different experience, but the smaller ship. So now we get into really small ships. But the luxury ships, Sea Dreams in that luxury yacht type feel. Then you get into the Seabourn, Regent, Silver Seas. Those are the three major players in the luxury market. They all range in 300 to 400 up to 700, 800. Crystal, I should throw Crystal in there, even though they're in the mid range of size. They're like 900 to 1,000 passengers. So it gives you a luxury experience with a little bit bigger ship. They did have some issues, just throwing it out there. They're coming back into the market. They were owned by a company out of Japan, and they kind of went belly up kind of in the COVID days. So now they're two ships they have left are bought by Abercrombie and Kent. If anyone knows Abercrombie and Kent, have heard that name, very high-end tour operator. So Crystal has always done a fantastic job. So Seabourn, Silver Seas, Regent, Crystal, they're the deluxe high-end ships ranging from 300-400 passengers up to 900,000 passengers.
Wow. When we talk about, you mentioned the Windstar. I was on the Windstar. Oof, I'm afraid to even say what year.
150 years ago, I know. Same, me too. I was about 150 years ago.
There was guys rowing on the side. Yeah.
We threw them, food up, from the buffet.
Yeah. The quarters were a little musty, but it was nice. There was only 100 passengers though. But yeah, I think it was like 34 years ago. I was on the Windstar, and it was an experience. It was a unique experience. I wonder what it's like today, but I'm sure it was 100 passengers, so it was like 2 crew members per passenger.
Yeah, they have been taken over a few times.
Okay,
so they're carving their niche again. I love that type of experience. It's very intimate.
Oh yeah,
I just love when you walk up to a bar and the bartender knows your name and knows what you like to drink. I mean, that's a great experience.
You're a superstar. You're forget the name Celebrity Cruises. You are the celebrity on a cruise like this, but it comes with a price tag. It depends on what you want to experience, what you want to pay for.
Yeah. And I mean, but it's a nice price point considering what they're offering you. They have carved a really nice little niche. I think Windstar in particular is a pretty good steal if you want a smaller, intimate experience. Your experiences are what you create while you go into the ports. it's not as much what the ship sometimes can offer. Although sometimes the ship has the toys off the back of the boat.
Yeah.
Seatrims has it, the jet skis and all the little toys and the
Sure.
kayaks and the paddle boards and things like that. That's kind of fun, but it's not as public space driven like the big casino or the workout area or anything. They all have spas though. Some are smaller than others, but so you can still have some of your spa experiences, but a little bit less going on in the evening, entertainment wise. So more entertaining yourself.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had a chef on Sea Dreams, which is another one that I really, really like the ship. It's like your own yacht. Like you said, 1-to-1 crew to whatever. Incredible service. But the chef was like going into port. I could go shopping with him or buying food, and he's like making the food that night for me. It was, I think I hugged him and I was crying when I left because the food was so good. And it was so a unique experience because it's like having a private chef. You're a private boat. It was just a really amazing experience. They do, and Seabourn does this, and Sea Dreams does this, and a few other ships where they do the caviar bar in the ocean. Oh yeah. They take you to a private beach and they float the caviar with crackers and stuff. They got the guys in the water up to their waist going in there, and they're floating, and you're sitting there in the ocean eating caviar, drinking champagne. That's the luxury, high-end luxury experience.
Wow. Okay. The next question I have to ask, and especially if we're talking about smaller ships, but it could be in a bigger ship, are you going to get seasick?
Okay. So the ships nowadays, the ballast, the things are built to not move a lot. They're just built so much better. I just literally went on a 180 passenger ship to Antarctica this year. 180 passenger, where it's 2 days through the Drake Passage, where the Atlantic and the Pacific meet and the Amazon River. I like to call it a ping pong ball and a washing machine for 2 days.
Wow.
I was definitely apprehensive, and I loved the cruise, but I was apprehensive. And I'm the guy that can drive the water ski boat and have to jump off because I'm going to get seasick. Okay. So I am the ultimate seasick person. And so this boat, peanut gallery here.
Yeah. Well, please share. What do you got there?
Yeah. Let me do. I gotta get up here. She's gonna have to join us for a minute. This is Edith.
Adorable. Wow.
The Cadillac travel mascot.
You know what? That's the Cadillac Canine.
Cadillac Canine. That's exactly what she is. So we went on this ship and he had great concerns because the average waves were around 5 to 15 feet. And one night we had 20 to 25 foot waves. And I tell you, it handled it like a champ. Really quite smooth considering the water that we were going through. So these big ships, you don't feel anything, especially the mass market ships. You virtually feel nothing. Where they're cruising, the waters are usually smooth. Even when you start getting into the Mediterranean, the last ship I was on, Oceania, was in the Baltic. You don't even know you're on a ship. That's the other thing that starts real. You don't realize you're on a ship because you don't really feel hardly any motion.
Wow.
So if I can cruise and I can go through the Drake Passage, anybody can cruise. I will give you the seasickness, the ones that are really, really concerned, very sensitive, going to get seasick. Here are your options. Down and dirty. The patch you wear behind your ear. A little groggy for, the first day is a little bit fuzzy, but after that, you're fine. You're not supposed to drink too much on it. But for the really, really pushing the envelope that is concerned, the patch works well. I use non-drowsy boning. They have Dramamine is very similar. Meclizine is the name.
Yeah.
The medical drug name. Works like a charm. Never had a problem. It's a pill you don't even have to swallow if you want. It's raspberry and just kind of suck on it. And you take that 2 hours before you cruise. You're good to go.
Yeah.
And then some people don't want to take anything or have any drugs. You can use the wristbands. They work pretty good. Little pressure point wristbands. They're probably the next. And then you can start getting into like ginger or some natural things that help too. They work okay. If you're going to go for the crossings, forget about it. You got to have more of the howitzers, the big guns. But if you're going to go and it's in some of these ships, most of the time you can get away with nothing. So I
So
didn't use any. Yeah.
you didn't have it, nothing.
This
And,
last cruise through the
yeah.
Baltic Sea, nothing.
So
Not
to,
the whole
to
time.
your examples here, and thank you for the transparency. That Windstar 34 years ago, they didn't have the technology, and we went through a storm. Just happened to be. I was on a lower level. I saw the water come over my porthole every time the waves came up. It was a little, you could feel it. Let me just say that. However, what do we got working here? We have not advanced weather and radar back 34 years ago. So you didn't know the storm was what it was. So, now they steer around everything. And we didn't have the stabilization that we have today. So you're giving an example, 10, 15-foot waves and you're barreling right through. You don't even know you're on a ship.
The stabilizers are amazing. And you hit on something that's really important because people say, oh my God, what about during hurricane season or these seasons or, what about those things? The advanced technology in weather forecasting and the fact you're on multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar ships,
Yeah.
billion-dollar ships. You think they're going to put one of those in harm's way? Your itinerary may change, but you're going to not have a problem. And I've been on ships where I see it pouring 100, yards off or 100 feet off to my right, and I'm sitting in the sun, and I watch the ship just kind of navigate its way through into the beautiful weather and staying out of the weather patterns. So
they're not going to take those chances. And every once in a while, you hear a little thing about a ship got stuck here, whatever. It's like the airlines, people who are afraid to fly, and I respect that. That's everybody's their own situation. How many flights take off? How many accidents have happened? And same thing with the ships. There's so many ships out there at sea. How often do you hear of an issue? They're not going to take a chance. They don't want the bad press either. They don't want to damage their, billion-dollar fleet.
right.
Yeah, it's a non-issue, really. When you think about
which
it.
brings you to, because we heard a lot of this during COVID, and these are things, the elephant in the room, the few elephants in the room. One,
Yeah.
am I going to feel claustrophobic? I'm stuck on a ship. Oh, no. The ships that are out now, that the biggest ships out 2.5 times around the perimeter of the ship is a mile. Do the math. The ship is almost a quarter mile long. It's a floating island. It's a floating resort. There's so much to do. You don't even see half the ship. It takes you 3 or 4 days just to see the whole ship. So the claustrophobic are worried about that type of thing.
No.
Not at all. Now they have outdoor dining venues on these ships. So you're dining right and you're looking over the ocean. It is outstanding. You have outdoor water shows on the back of the ship on the Royal Caribbean ships that are phenomenal. Unbelievable. Climbing walls, surfing. There's so much to do. You're not going to be bored and you're not going to be claustrophobic. Now, a big one, norovirus, if we all have heard of that, the gastrointestinal stuff, the GI stuff. Here's a statistic that most people don't know. More people get sick on a daily basis in restaurants than they will ever happen on a cruise ship. But on a cruise ship, when it happens, on 100, 200 people get sick, then it's a story. On a daily basis, the 2s, the 4s, the 20, maybe even 100 people in a restaurant, they go home and they might call the restaurant, but they don't call the news. So you don't hear about it. So statistically, more people get sick on a daily basis from food in restaurants and in grocery stores than they do on a cruise ship. Cruise ships are the original Perel hand sanitizer people, hand washing stations when you go into the buffets areas. It just doesn't have, it's a really clean environment. I'll take it to another level. There's another one, concerns about safety in travel, especially with families nowadays. Can be scary traveling. Are someone going to come kidnap my kids, or is something going to happen to my kids? Cruise ships, last time I can't say I've ever seen anyone swim up to a cruise ship and kidnap your child. Just saying. Okay. It's a long swim and it's a deep water. And coming on board the ship, you got to be ID'd, photo ID. All the people that work there are vetted and ID'd. Get on and off the ship, both directions, always IDs, photos, the whole thing. So they know everyone that's on the ship, off the ship, who's on the ship, the background of these. It is the safest trip you can take with a family that exists for health-wise as well as safety and security. It's incredible.
I
It
want to
really
address,
is.
before we run out of time, I want to illustrate your points. I live in the New York area. There was just a little girl, think she was 8, abducted.
Yeah.
They found her. She's fine. But she was taken from a campsite. Okay. On a ship. There's cameras everywhere. There's nowhere to hide. That's number one. Number two, I can't think of the last time I read a story about anybody getting sick on a cruise ship. Google KUMO, Kumo. It's a restaurant. It's about 15 minutes from my studio where I am now. It is now closed. Everybody raved about this restaurant. Guess what? People were in there about 3 weeks ago. I don't want to be gross here, but as soon as they ate, projectile was going on, like rapid fire. People were hospitalized. People are suing. KUMO. There you go. When was the last time? I can't remember the last time on a ship, but there's a restaurant. And that was, I've eaten there many times. Hibachi. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's not there anymore. So there you go. I mean, that's just to illustrate everything you just said.
Right. And, one of the last things that I think I want to touch on real quickly is, will I get fat cruising? Right. Well, most people will get fat on vacations anyways, and there's a reason for that, because you don't usually eat dessert or eat as many meals as you do on vacation as you do at home. It's just a natural thing. But on cruise ships, what they've done is there's nicer workout facilities and these unbelievable menu items that they put on to make sure that you're still eating healthy. And by the way, they'll cater to any type of gluten-free, vegetarian,
sure,
you name it. They got it, paleo. They got it all on cruise ships. They'll take care of any type of diet you want. But the workout facilities are fantastic on this last ship. And some people, I don't want to work out on vacation. Well, there's a lot of people that are workoutaholics, but there's so much more to do. There, you can do walking, you can do yoga classes. There's so many healthy things to do on board a ship that makes, I get to work out so I can eat more and feel good about it. So you're not going to get fat unless you just want to sit there and eat bonbons the whole time, but you can do that at home as well. So.
And when I think back to land vacations, going to the Caribbean, I just plop my butt down on the beach and bring me tropical drinks all day. On a ship, you're walking around, checking things out. You're going on excursions. So don't want to run out of time, but if anybody is thinking about a cruise or just want some insight, the only way to do it is through a travel specialist, a professional like you, David, because what you said before, one size does not fit all. You're going to fit somebody and their family, if they travel with their family, on the right ship, exactly what they're looking for. How do we find you?
So you can find David Fishman, Cadillac Travel Group. As I said, we've been in business 40 years. So I started when I was 5. I'm a child prodigy. You can reach us at www.cadillactravel.com, info at Cadillac Travel, or David at CadillacTravel.com. You can email us, call us at 1-800-369-TRIP, 8747, or 248-358-5330. Find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram. Wherever you want to look for us, we'll be there, and we'll take care of you and make the unknown unforgettable, as we like to say at Cadillac Travel. Wow. We make it special, and we're with you every step of the way, from the beginning to the middle to the end, and make sure you have an amazing experience.
I could go on all day talking with you. I love it. Like, there's so much to know, so much to learn. It's exciting. I always feel like I'm on vacation every time we get together. But yeah, anybody looking to book, there it is. David, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank the government for not shutting down, because that would have really screwed up travel.
and then there's that.
I was going to talk about it, but thank God they didn't shut down, because
we skirted that way.
And air traffic control and that goes, we got problems. So
say no more.
Still traveling, gang. Get out there. Get on board.
All right. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.